Manipulation in corporate culture. How companies shape employee behavior for profit. All right, my lovely lot. It's Emily Bennett here, and today we're diving into a topic that's juicy, bold, and, let's be honest, just a bit cheeky. So, the other day I was helping my good friend Jules, who runs a media company. She was in a bit of a pickle. The company's been growing, but she's noticed some interesting trends in how her employees have been behaving lately. Some of it felt a bit manufactured, shall we say? She was asking me, Emily, do you think companies manipulate their employees to get more out of them? Now, I don't know about you, but as soon as she asked that, my brain lit up like a Christmas tree. Why? Because corporate manipulation is one of those things that happens all the time, but we rarely call it out for what it is. From subtle nudges to full-on psychological tactics, companies have become masters at shaping employee behavior for one reason and one reason only: profit. So, grab a glass of wine, settle in, and let's talk about how companies use sneaky strategies to get the most out of their people, all in the name of the bottom line. And don't worry, we'll throw in a few sexy examples to keep things interesting. 1. The company culture trap, making you feel like family, but not really. Now, let's start with one of the oldest tricks in the book, the "we're all a family" line. Now, I love a bit of family vibe in the workplace as much as the next person, but let's be honest. When a company starts telling you that you're like family, it's often just a sneaky way to make you feel emotionally invested, so you're willing to give more of yourself. Jules was telling me how her company's higher-ups are constantly pushing this family narrative, expecting everyone to go above and beyond. Late-night work sessions, weekend emails, the whole shebang. But here's the catch. Families don't fire you when times get tough. Companies do. It's a classic manipulation technique. They make you feel like you're part of something bigger, so you're more likely to work longer hours, skip holidays, and sacrifice personal time. But at the end of the day, that family feeling is a strategic tool to boost productivity. I remember back when I worked at this one firm, and they'd host these after-work drinks every Friday. It was all, we're in this together, but the reality? They just wanted us more engaged, more willing to stay late on a project, or, dare I say, feel guilty when we took time off. It's sexy when the company makes you feel wanted, but let's not forget, it's a tactic. 2. The illusion of choice, how flexibility is often a mirage. Now let's talk about flexibility. You know, those companies that proudly boast about offering flexible hours or the ability to work from home. It sounds liberating, right? But more often than not, it's a clever bit of corporate manipulation. What they're really saying is, we'll give you the illusion of freedom, but you're expected to be always on. Jules mentioned that since her company introduced flexible working, her employees have actually started working longer hours. Why? Because when you can work from anywhere, you feel this unspoken pressure to always be available. Emails at 10 p.m.? No problem, you've got flexible hours. Working on weekends? Of course, you're just catching up in your own time. I once worked with a client who was obsessed with flexible hours. She'd get up at 6 a.m. for a quick workout, spend the day juggling work and life, and then, here's the kicker, work well into the night because she felt like she hadn't done enough. Sexy as it may seem to control your own schedule, in reality, companies are banking on you feeling guilty for not working during traditional hours. So, when a company offers flexibility, ask yourself, who really benefits? Because it might just be them getting more out of you, not the other way around. 3. Incentives and rewards. Carrots with hidden strings. Here's another cheeky one. Incentives and rewards. Companies love dangling carrots in front of employees to keep them motivated, whether it's a bonus, a promotion, or even something like Employee of the Month. It feels great to be recognized, doesn't it? But let's be real. It's not just for you. It's for the company's bottom line. Take Jules's company, for example. They introduced a top performer bonus that had everyone racing to be the best. Productivity shot through the roof, but what Jules realized is that her employees were also burning out faster, becoming more competitive, and not in a healthy way, and ultimately just trying to game the system to win that extra bit of cash. Back when I was working in the finance world, I was on the receiving end of one of these corporate carrots. I worked like mad to hit a bonus target, staying late, taking calls on weekends, all the sexy grind. But when I got that bonus, sure, it felt good for a minute. But then I realized I was trapped in a cycle of constantly chasing the next reward. I'd played right into their hands. Incentives are powerful because they give you a short-term buzz, but companies know that if they dangle the right carrot, you'll run yourself ragged to get it. They get the profits, and you get, well, a momentary high. 4. Manipulating your loyalty, the long game of retention. Now, let's get to the long game. Loyalty. Companies are absolutely brilliant at making you feel like you owe them your loyalty, even when the scales aren't exactly balanced. They invest in fancy corporate retreats, send out heartfelt appreciation emails, and give out anniversary awards, all with the aim of keeping you emotionally tied to the company. Jules was saying how she has employees who've been with the company for years, and they don't even question it anymore. They're not moving up the ladder, but they're comfortable. Why? Because the company has made them feel like they belong, even when there's no real advancement. Back in the day, I worked for a company that loved to celebrate anniversaries. If you hit the 5-year mark, you got a fancy dinner, a plaque, and a bunch of flowers. It felt lovely, but looking back, I realized that it was all part of the manipulation. The real reward wasn't for the employee, it was for the company. Keeping you loyal meant less turnover, lower training costs, and a more consistent workforce. It's sexy to feel wanted, but don't get fooled into thinking loyalty is a one-way street. If your company isn't investing in your growth, it's time to rethink that relationship. 5. Fear of missing out, the everyone else is doing it tactic. And finally, let's talk about FOMO, the good old fear of missing out. Corporate culture loves to use this one. They create this buzz that makes you feel like everyone else is doing something, whether it's working harder, attending extra meetings, or taking on more projects, and you don't want to be left behind, do you? Jules noticed that when they started promoting a new product line, they pushed the message that everyone in the company was getting involved to make it a success. Naturally, even the folks who weren't directly involved with sales started working harder to push the product, just because they didn't want to feel like they weren't part of the winning team. I've seen it myself. Companies get you to overcommit by making you feel like if you're not contributing, you're somehow letting the side down. It's sexy in a way, that feeling of belonging and being part of something bigger, but it's all manipulation. They're pulling your strings to get more out of you. So next time you feel that little itch of FOMO, take a step back and ask yourself, who's really benefiting here? Is it you, or is it the company squeezing that extra bit of effort from you? So, there you have it. How companies shape employee behavior for profit through subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, manipulation. From the "we're all family" line to offering flexibility that benefits them, dangling carrots of rewards, keeping you loyal through emotional ties, and using a bit of FOMO to push you further. These are the strategies companies use to boost their profits while you do the heavy lifting. Have you spotted any of these tactics in your own workplace? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into business, life, and everything in between. Cheers for watching, and remember, don't let corporate manipulation steer your ship. You're the captain of your own career.